something revolutionary is happening in Africa. And once again, the voice of reason, of resistance, and of revival has spoken. On July 24th, 2025, at the ICAD conference stage, the indomitable Professor PLO Lumumba stood before the world and delivered a fiery warning to African leaders. Follow Burkina Faso, or fall. This is not just a speech. It's a prophetic call to arms. Let's unpack the message that's shaking the continent. Professor Patrick Locke Otieno Lumumba is not just a Kenyan scholar. He's Africa's unapologetic moral compass, a pan-Africanist voice who refuses to bow to Western puppeteering. For over a decade, Lumumba has sounded the alarm on neocolonialism, weak leadership, and the theft of African wealth. But this speech, it was different. It was urgent. It was revolutionary. Standing tall in his signature African attire, Lumumba took the podium at the ICAD 2025 conference, and what followed was nothing short of historic.
The extraordinary political change in Niger, the extraordinary political change in Mali, in Gabon, and the Malabo Protocol says that unconstitutional changes of government are not desirable. Whose constitution? Made under what tradition? People are tired. They are tired because we know that the ballot does not deliver. The ballot does not create democracy. It creates kakistocracies. Governments by our very worst. That is why out of 54 African countries, 40 of them, every election cycle, they print ballots outside of the continent of Africa. We don't trust each other. In the Democratic Republic of Congo now, there are 910 political parties. We have bastardized this thing that we inherited from Europe and America. We must rethink. Our countryman, the late Ali Mazrui, once said, in trying to answer this question of governance, he wrote a paper in the year 2001. If African politics is ethnic prone, can we have constitutions that are ethnic proof? And I dare say that we have failed. We have failed in many countries. The constitutions are not worth the paper that they are written on. We honor them in breach. The question is, what then must we do? And this is why I think that the young people present in this assembly are part of the solution. Part of the solution because the youth have a critical role to play, but you must never ignore the old. Because the old have some experience. They have some wisdom if they were wise in the beginning. Age on, and I want to be clear, age in and of itself does not make one intelligent. If you are a fool as a young person and you grow old, you are just an old fool. So I'm suggesting to us that we must respect age. The Oromo Gada system. Have you heard when you acquire a certain age, you go to a certain level. In other words, the society takes advantage of the entire population. They take advantage of the youthful zest of the young ones. They take advantage of the measured experience of the old ones. And lo and behold, the society is complete. It can be done and it must be done. You know now, when I talk to professors at the universities across Africa, and they tell me that they are professors of political science, I ask them, what are you teaching in political science? Are you still teaching John Stuart Mill? Are you still teaching Sophocles and Aristophanes and Socrates and Plato? Are you still teaching Julius Caesar and Aurelius? Or you are teaching contemporary African politics? Are you teaching the Osagie Fokwame? Are you teaching the philosophy, whether you like him or not, of Nnamdi Azikiwe? Are you teaching the ideas of Mashuda Abiola? Are you teaching Julius Kambarage Nyerere and Ujamaa? Are you teaching Kaunda and humanism? Are you teaching Andy Mbahaman Yatoivo in Namibia? Are you teaching Robert Subukwe? Are you teaching Winnie Madikizela Mandela? Are you teaching? Who are you teaching? Because we must begin to teach the ideas of our people and interrogate them, because nobody is perfect. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the expectation of the continent of Africa, but the time is now. And I hope and pray that what we see in the Sahel will be the beginning of something. You know, when the Americans became independent, there were only 13 original states. It can start with 4. And then the others will join. And then they will join. And in 100 years, we will have a united Africa. The speaker before me talked about the many protocols that African Union makes. Oh, we met in Maputo and said how our women are going to be mainstreamed. Have we mainstreamed? We sat in Malabo and said that we are going to ensure good governance. Have we made it? We sat in Yamoussoukro in 1988 and said we were going to free their space. We sat in Kampala in the year 2012 and said we are going to eliminate internally displaced persons. We sat in Kigali in the year 2018 and said that we are going to have a single African passport. We sat in Addis Ababa in the year 2013 and said we have Agenda 2063. We sat and said that we are going to have Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We sat here in Abuja in the year 2001 and said that we are going to have 15% of our budget in the medical field. Have we done all those? Africa is a forest of protocols and a sea of conventions which nobody ever swims in, and the forests, the trees are never cut. I'm suggesting to us that the time is now. The time is now for us to ensure that we change. Because I must not belabor the issue. I must not belabor the issue because we need action. The beauty of the moment is that something is happening. Something is beginning to happen. People are moving. And people are saying that it must be done. I have people in this assembly with whom we have moved across the continent. Lina Sokorie is now establishing a university here in Abuja to talk about governance in Africa. The president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, has just set up a school of governance in Abeokuta. Things are happening. My good friend Arikana Chihombori Kwao, in 2018, we were 200 of us in Ghana talking about African unity. In 218, we were with President Chakwera in Malawi. On the 29th day, we are in Somaliland in Hargeisa. In October, we are in Ouagadougou. And then we are in Liberia. We are moving. People are moving across the continent. And the reason why that is happening is because we now know what is Nigeria without Africa. Nigeria, Lord Lugard, in the year 1914, put North and South together. It can't be made without Lord Lugard's agenda. It can be done. I want Nigeria to be the leader. 1 out of every 5 black people in the world are Nigerians. If you go to any place and you don't find a Nigeria, run away, because that place is not worth habiting. You find them in all fields. Nigeria, provide the leadership. Nigeria, give us a governance system. Whether it's a federation or a confederation, give us a governance system. Nigeria, don't define yourselves as Igbo or Yoruba or Kanuri or Hausa or Fulani. Don't. When you give us, when Nigeria does that, Benin will follow. Togo will follow. Chad will follow. Burkina Faso will follow. All countries will follow. And once we have captured the West, the Spirit will move to the center. The Spirit will move to the east. The Spirit will move to the south. The Spirit will move to the north. And those in the north who question the Africanness, the ghost of questioning will be exercised. When we were here a little earlier, in the presence of the Deputy Speaker, the lights disappeared. It was a statement to authority here and in Africa that we have problems to solve. The energy problem that the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga talked about. We have disease to deal with. We have unemployment to deal with. We have technology to deal with. We are not going to deal with them in silos of little countries. We cannot have over 33 currencies in Africa. We cannot have 54 passports. It cannot be that it takes 24 hours to travel from Lagos in Nigeria to Windhoek in Namibia. It cannot be, and it must not be. So today, I am concluding by saying, African unity must be there. But it is not the unity of the graveyard where people agree in silence. It is the unity where ideas are cross-fertilized and cross-pollinated by ideas, and bad ideas give way to good ideas. It will be united when people begin not to have too much faith in the offices that they hold, but they have faith in serving the people. I do not know how many of you here have heard of this great African with whom I want to end my speech, James Eman Kwegyiragre. James Eman Kwegyiragre was a Ghanaian. He was the teacher of the Osagie for Kwame Nkrumah. But before I come to him, permit me to mention yet another African who is important. This African is a South African called Pixley Kaisa Kasteme, often referred to as the founder of the African National Congress. In April the year 1906, in the University of Columbia in the United States of America, he delivered an iconic speech called The Regeneration of Africa. Africa must regenerate. He was only 27 years of age, the age of those who are here. You are the ones who are going to change Africa. Don't shy away. Seize the opportunity. In the dinner table of change, there are no invitation letters written, répondez s'il vous plaît. You break the door and find yourselves in the room and take charge. This is the time. James Eman Kwegyiragre said that when the white man came, he did this. And he said, comparing it to a poultry farmer, he said that in his village, there was a poultry farmer. That poultry farmer, as all poultry farmers do, kept chicken. One day, the young one of an eagle also strayed. And the eagle and the chicken were fed by the farmer for several years. But another day, a naturalist came and saw the eagle and said, but this is not chicken. And the chicken farmer said, yes, it used to be an eagle, but we have fed it on chicken feed for so long, it lost its chickenhood, it lost its eaglehood, is now chicken. But the naturalist said, no, once you are an eagle, no matter how long you've been fed on chicken feed, you'll always be an eagle. He came one day and held the eagle on the palm of his hand and urged it to leave. It refused to leave. And the chicken farmer said, I told you, it was once an eagle. We have fed it on chicken feed for too long, but it is now chicken. We have been fed on the chicken feed of IMF, chicken feed of the World Bank, chicken feed of USAID, chicken feed of GIZ, chicken feed of USAID, chicken feed of CEDA Sweden, chicken feed of CEDA Canada. But The following day he came when the sun was rising, and he placed on his palm, and the eagle flew away. And he said, I told you, no matter how long you feed an eagle on chicken feed, when the time comes, it will assume its eaglehood and it will fly. You are the eagles, and I'm urging you to fly.